I have no idea. But I mean, I do know that the damage to the fine structure and function that MAP does to the nervous system in the intestine will affect its normal diurnal rhythm, and it was probably something to do with damage to the nervous system in the gut.
Coming back to our food, in milk, is the UHT, is the ultra high technology now well, safe or not safe?
I think the question, if I could just slightly modify it, is we know that ordinary pasteurization at 72 degrees centigrade for 15 seconds does not kill all the MAP. So the question becomes, will UHT milk kill all the MAP? And we don't know the answer to that. I do know that MAP bugs have been grown from UHT milk in Argentina, and research shows that. But I haven't seen that studied elsewhere. It's a difficult question to answer, because the only way you can tell whether MAP is alive or dead is at present is to culture it, and since it doesn't grow in culture easily, it's a difficult question to answer. My prediction would be that UHT milk probably significantly reduces the number of living MAP bugs in milk, but whether it eliminates every last one, I think, is unlikely.
Yes, and in this same relation we have another type of milk sold in the European market. It was once, when I was in Germany, I don't know if they still have these, big glass bottles with, let's say, like the Coke dog, well closed, and it was sterilized milk.
Yes, I'm not familiar with the actual industrial process used there, but I believe the temperature to which that is exposed is such that it would almost certainly kill all MAP. I understand also that it may affect the flavour of the milk, and some consumers...
It is that, which, because I tried it.
Yes.
The milk has another taste, which it's not normal, let's say.
Yes, and that's
not
caused,
a fresh taste.
No.
Yeah?
That's caused by the sugars in the milk, like the lactoses, being what the chemists call enolized. It changes the chemical structure of the milk.
Let's simply mention the tests. The best and the most reliable tests, you said, were on the colon exudate and biopsies, and then we have the tests of blood, stool, which are less positive. Let's say we are getting better results from colonoscopic sample. Okay.
Yes, the benchmark test at the present state of our knowledge and technology for MAP infection in humans is the PCR test on a fresh, endoscopically obtained mucosal biopsy from the small intestine or the large intestine, the colon. But there are other samples which are useful. There is some exudate in the colon after the preparation for colonoscopy, and that looks like a good sample as well. Stool samples are not so good, and blood samples, although helpful, you can envisage the organisms entering the blood and then leaving quite quickly. So it may be the case that research will show that although it can be detected, it's not the most reliable test of MAP infection in people with Crohn's disease.
So in this context, Javi and me, we are going to give you our thanks for analyzing our worst material we are going to deliver you. Well, so we'll see. Thank you. We are simply trying to test ourselves a bit also here.
That's fine.
And it's we are very thankful to you for
not at all. It's a pleasure.
And then finally, well, the standard treatments we know are what we call the palliative treatments, which are the anti-inflammation and so on and so on. And many times I'm questioning myself if we have during 70 years or more people talking about M.A.P, where are the other people talking about other pathogens which would not be M.A.P? So my personal opinion is, as long as we don't have people talking about another pathogen like M.A.P, M.A.P is the only existing one who is, let's say, causing the Crohn.
I think you have to look at the accumulated, reliable scientific evidence.
Yeah.
I say reliable because there are unreliable studies. And the reliable scientific evidence shows, unequivocally, that infection in our animals is widespread. 2, humans are exposed to M.A.P. 3, most humans with Crohn's disease are infected with M.A.P. And 4, M.A.P is, as we've said, this proven pathogen that can cause chronic inflammation of the intestine and systemic infection in many species, including primates. And it's this last ability of M.A.P specifically to cause chronic inflammation of the intestine, using the mechanisms that we've discussed and others which we have yet to find, which distinguishes it from all other organisms that have been considered as causative in Crohn's disease. And the evidence is very strong that most of Crohn's disease is caused by M.A.P.
Okay, and now simply one question, am I coming back to your information about the combination of refined chlorphas with Remicade, or the use in general of Remicade, Humira, and immunosuppressing material and so on. What we are looking for is a low-risk treatment. So if we are talking about low-risk treatment, I have seen in some reports that only side effects like arthralgias, pain in bones and articulations, leukopenias, uveitis are coming up in some cases if we use only the Rifa and the chlorphazimine. Now, if we are adding Remicade to it, and we know again adding risk also to our treatment.
Well, I think the side effects of drugs like Remicade, and to a lesser extent, of course, of the humanized antibody Humira, are well described and then known to everybody in the field. So I think the answer to that is yes, you would add in some increased risk. But it is the case that recent years have suggested that many of the agents used in Crohn's disease, and we know ones like methotrexate, for example, or 6-mercaptopurine, which have always been presumed to act through suppression of the immune system. And Robert Greenstein's work in New York is particularly relevant here. Also have a potent action against M.A.P, which does not kill the organisms, but it arrests them. So this anti-M.A.P action may actually be the basis for much of the clinical improvement that may occur sometimes in this immunosuppressive treatment in Crohn's disease. And furthermore, it may also apply to anti-TNF treatments like infliximab and Humira. And this is because this TNF, which, if you like, drives inflammation, is present in the blood and tissue fluids. So if you infuse the antibody, it will mop up the inflammation-causing TNF and reduce the inflammation. But there's another mechanism, and this is that cells in the body which are parasitized or which have M.A.P inside them will also express TNF bound to their surface. And if the Humira or the infliximab antibodies bind to the surface of those cells, it will mark them for destruction by the immune system. So that such treatments may also have an anti-MAP action.